Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has given us unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure or admire an old one. What will we find today? Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
When people of Jesus' day got ready for Passover, what did they do? And what did they think about? They headed toward Jerusalem, where they would visit the temple and buy a lamb to have for the Passover dinner. They would discuss the night before their ancestors and how they left Egypt, how God sent the 10 plagues to destroy Egypt, how He'd instructed them to smear lamb's blood on their door and cook unleavened bread, instituting the Passover meal. They'd tell their children about how God opened the Red Sea for them. All of them crossed over, and when they had arrived safely on the other side, how He destroyed the entire Egyptian army by merely letting the waters go back to their regular flow, crashing down on their enemies. They'd tell about how God provided manna in the wilderness for 40 years, kept them safe, won battles, how their clothes didn't wear out, how He led them with a cloud by day and a fire by night. Oh, what a story that was to tell every year. It's kind of like our traditions at Christmas time. We put up our tree and nativity scenes. We make Christmas cookies, sing Christmas carols, watch Christmas movies. In our family, we go to a special Christmas Eve candlelight service and read the Christmas story. Then on Christmas morning, we open presents and have a special dinner at home with friends and family. But what if we decided to completely change everything and go on a cruise for Christmas? We'd probably still be thinking about our normal Christmas traditions, and Jesus' birth wouldn't be far from our mind the whole time. So when I read in John 6 that the feeding of the 5,000 happened around Passover, I can imagine what was on the minds of the people. Normally they'd be on their way to Jerusalem for Passover. Some of them may have been headed that way when they heard about Jesus and decided to see what was going on with this preacher that did miracles. Jerusalem would be there next year for Passover. This would be different. And it sure was. About 20,000 people out of the 2 million or so who normally crowded into Jerusalem for Passover spent it instead up north with Jesus. So they would have all been thinking about the exodus from Egypt, the parting of the Red Sea, the manna in the wilderness. In this context, Jesus had the perfect setting, the wilderness, to prove Himself to be their provider by multiplying the fish and loaves for everyone to eat. This would be a Passover to remember for sure. This wasn't done by chance. Their very own sacrificial lamb demonstrated how He was the bread of life. Isn't this wonderful, how God orchestrates things like that in our lives? He arranges circumstances, puts people in our path, has the perfect devotional to go with whatever's happening in our lives. And just as the Lord guided those people to that place at that time to do that miracle, He times everything in our lives just perfectly too. Sometimes that involves us doing things a little differently, but it always means that we have a great God story to tell afterwards.
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. We'd love to hear the treasures God has given you through His Word. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you can find in the description below. Thank you for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.